All the building permits, court cases, and written documents and advices for the court cases, can they also provide to Parliament as well for the last year? Dear Chair Lady, I believe I addressed the core of this issue in my previous response. As I stated, legal documents as such cannot be provided to Parliament. Of course, I remain open to providing Parliament with an overview of relevant cases and, of course, our legal approach where possible. What classification is being used when a civil works permit is being issued? How is that described in National Gazette? Can an example be provided to Parliament? The classification administration number that the department uses is the same as the building permit, such as BP 002025, for example, with the description of activities such as demolition, infrastructure dredging, clearing of land, felling of trees, etc. Monies were left for roadworks, infrastructure projects in terms of sewage connection to the homes, and people would like to know how much of those funds have been spent thus far. What is the ministry's plan to increase the speed in which this is happening? Does the ministry run the risk of losing the funds if money is not spent timely? Has a request gone for 2026 to get more capex to continue the great work in terms of paving of all roads and all side roads, and also putting together more home connects for sewage? That would alleviate a lot of the sewage situations that we see persons complain about on the island. Stated earlier, Madam Chair, through you, for the side road project, approximately 80% of the project has been completed thus far. The funds for the project are secured at Central Bank of St. Martin and Curacao and not at risk of being lost. A draft proposal has been prepared and submitted for CAPEX 2026 in order to continue with this project. With regards to Dutch Quarter sewage connections, the advice is being prepared to commence the implementation of the household connections. The MP requests all documents related to the rainforest adventure, issuance of the land, which minister signed the deed issuing the land, which discount agreement was made on the amount he paid. MP was told that the tax exemption, long lease exemptions write-off took place last 2 months by the minister and council of ministers. Was there any request to substantiate that? What would be a reason to write it off? Long lease is not being written off for private citizens when having problems financially. In the eyes of the MP, the business already got a sweet deal, discount on multiple fronts, and get a write-off for tax or long lease. Clarity is being sought, as well as requesting all documents. The final decree for rainforest case can be shared with the MP via the standard private procedure. The decree was signed on March 13, 2015 by Acting Minister Roy Marcel Gums. The decree was dated on January 12, 2016. During that period, Angel Myers was Minister of Rummy. In 2019, 2 requests were made by Rainforest for a long lease canon exemption discount. In 2020, extensive talks were held with Rainforest and the ministry and then minister, which resulted in a 3rd request, which was not finalized. In accordance with Article, sorry, my apologies, skipped a line, asking to relinquish part of the land and a reduced canon price per square meter. The request was not finalized. In accordance with Article 17 of the National Ordinance on the Issuance of Land in Long Lease, a request to relinquish a leasehold rights may not be denied. Therefore, it was deemed legally and reasonably necessary to approve partial relinquishment from July 7, 2020, the date of RFA's 3rd formal request. In 2024, the talks with Rainforest continued, which resulted in a signed draft decree in which a part of the land was relinquished. Currently, no certificates of management are being finalized, and no discount, reduced price, or exemption was given. I do not know of any tax reduction either. Moving on to the questions of MP La Cruz. How many building permits are pending, and how many fees would have been received if these were approved? Madam Chair, through you, concerning the backlog, we provided that information in the previous response. If that's okay for the MP. If not, I can go through the total amount as well of the backlog. And the final part of that question, of course, the amount that would be received if these permits were approved cannot be calculated or given an estimated cost. The reason for this is because each permit will have a different cost. This is due to the purpose and surface area of the building and structure. So until all these permits are actually processed, we don't actually know the cost of the outstanding. The MP's second question, can the minister give us an idea how it works when our citizens are experiencing sewage water in the street, and what they actually have to do? If persons believe they're experiencing sewage water, you can contact the ministry via email and submit timestamp photos for follow-up. In addition, the department created the QR code where all questions and photos can be directly sent to the ministry, specifically inspection department, with the information for follow-up. Persons are also able to directly contact KPSM if they observe disposal of wastewater onto public roads, which is a violation that falls under KPSM APK. And very briefly, Madam Chair, allow me to share the email to which all of those photos can be sent. So again, regarding sending an email, it is vromi-inspection@stmartingov.org. There is a tender from the NRPB for the tires on the dump. Found it strange since I know someone that owns a tire place in Soccer Garden to do something with the tires on the dump and requested him to submit to government. It was found strange to be tendered by NRPB. So why NRPB? This is a government issue. Madam Chair, through you, all initiatives regarding EDMP, that's waste reforms, is being managed through the World Bank Trust Fund project, which is administered by NRPB. There is currently a tender out, and until that tender is reviewed and dealt with, I prefer to refrain from discussing topics, as in fact no one has actually won this tender at all. Yeah, and indeed, just to clarify, this is not part of the national budget. Then to the MP's last question, can Minister let me know if he sat down with the Housing Foundation and ran through their plans for getting our low-income homes in place? What were his conclusions? Were any requests made, and how does he plan to move forward with that? Since taking office, I have met with the Housing Foundation 4 times. The discussion focused on the role of the foundation, current and proposed housing projects, and the relationship with government. VROMI has the following priorities to address some of these discussions. 1, a clear communication of the responsibilities of the Housing Foundation versus government versus tenant. 2, discussions with stakeholders on issues with access in some proposed sites for low-income housing, as well as medium-income housing. The performance agreement, that's been long-standing. And then finally, we have initiated meetings every other month, starting last month, to support stronger alignment, especially as we reach the date for the delivery of the housing policy. Moving to the questions of MP Lyndon Lewis, staffing shortages, with the key departments such as Staff Bureau operating only 29% and the capacity at infrastructure at 68%. How do you plan to address these critical understaffing issues, and what recruitment target has been set for 2025? Madam Chair, the budget, through you, provides for all positions of the Staff Bureau in accordance with the function book. At this moment in time,
all vacancies have been published, interviews held, selections done, and now are in different stages to finalize the recruitment process. Concerning infrastructure management, there's insufficient budget to secure all positions as outlined in the function book. The department is, however, taking early steps in engaging with the P&O department to already prepare the recruitment process for roles we know are to become vacant in the short and midterm. Doing this earlier than usual helps secure continuity by taking more realistic recruitment timelines into account.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new bro?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurances.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
MP Egbert Duran. First question, MP is asking, when I took office, what exactly was already in place in terms of the marketplace, market vending place? Where were the permits of reference drafted, building permits issued, a contractor selected? What remained to be done? Want to hear from the minister's perspective all the steps that were taken and needs to be taken in order to execute the whole marketplace. The dossier indicated that former administration had architectural drawings and selected a contractor. However, it is important to note that these foundational steps did not cover all necessary elements required to commence the project. The approval from the Royal Caribbean Group, who is co-financier of the project, had yet to be given their approval. Next question. The MP requests that the minister to walk through the full timeline of what happened under the minister's watch and what advanced and stalled and why. Upon submission of preliminary drawings, Royal Caribbean Group gave their feedback along with their inquiries. The Ministry of ROMI, particularly the Department of New Works, requested the contractors to perform a soil test to design the marketplace with the potential to support future additional levels should it be required. Our efforts experienced various delays because of such. The soil test results showed that additional more levels would need piling, which cannot be implemented under existing circumstances. Our design team is finalizing the necessary drawings according to Royal Caribbean Group's concerns and recommendations, and we anticipate completing this revision soon so that the construction can start without delay. Minister, next question. Minister announced that this project would be a priority. Is it still the case for the minister today, and how is it being reflected in the minister's actions? Yes, it is absolutely still a priority. I want, through you, Madam Chair Lady, to begin by sincerely acknowledging the hardship and financial loss our market vendors have endured due to the delays. We fully recognize the impact this has had, not only on their businesses, but also on their families and daily livelihood, and I assured the MP that it has not gone unnoticed. While the original intention was to move forward swiftly, some unforeseen procedural requirements, including coordination with ministries, caused unavoidable delays. That said, my team is now working diligently to finalize all remaining steps so constructions can begin as soon as possible. To support the vendors during this transition, we are actively exploring temporary relief options in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and VROMI, aimed to helping the vendors recover and stay afloat until the new marketplace is completed. In addition, we've recently launched a dedicated WhatsApp communication channel through which we will provide vendors with weekly updates, important notices, because we believe communication and transparency is key. The revitalization of the marketplace is not just a promise. It is a commitment where we follow through with, step by step, in partnership with the co-financiers and our vendors. Next question, what is the real issue holding up at this moment across which department? The Ministry of ROMI is best positioned to provide a detailed explanation regarding the delays within its scope. However, it should be noted that the decision to conduct a soil test based on technical consideration resulted in unforeseen but significant delay in overall timeline. Interministerial coordination remains ongoing to ensure the project moves forward as efficiently as possible. Next question, vendors said that they would receive answers by the end of June. Can the minister clarify what is expected, what exactly they will receive, and what made the June target? As I recall, the Minister of ROMI communicated to the vendors that construction will be expected to begin by the end of June. This timeline was based on internal planning and technical assessments within the ministry. Can the minister share timeline of remaining milestones, soil tests, bidding process, construction start, project completion for the marketplace? Through you, Madam Chair Lady, I will provide a high-level summary of what took place each month, or what took place in general, and do note that this timeline will also be provided in time and to Parliament in writing for their perusal. So starting in May, up to now, to date, we did initial consultations, we designed, the design was completed, project and payment schedule reviewed, groundbreaking happened, which we knew that happened in August. Then we had a groundbreaking ceremony with the groundbreaking ceremony with the vendors. A site preparation happened, and then file construction drawings finalized, and then Royal Caribbean group comments was resolved, and then the supervision tender questions answered, and then project shed installed, and then we had a soil investigation completed, and last but not least, an update meeting with the vendors in collaboration with the Minister of ROMI and myself.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah. Your social health insurances.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new grill?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, comm programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
They are stated pertaining to the marketplace. You're waiting on the building permit. Because I asked specifically, what is the holdup? Is it something pertaining to VROMI? I didn't get a clear indication or clear answer. And Madam Chair, you know, the Minister of TEAT is trying to be a team player and doesn't want to throw anyone under the bus. But if you don't throw anyone under the bus, then you have to take the responsibility of the actions that is happening. And what it looks like, the Minister of TEAT came into office, caught steam, was moving, and all of a sudden it's halt. And it looks like the Minister of TEAT is playing with the emotions of the people at the marketplace with a groundbreaking where everyone was there smiling. And for months and months and months, we were asking. And Budget Amendment 2024, the Minister of TEAT told me, within 2 weeks, work will commence. And then we asked again, and the Minister of TEAT told me through you, Madam Chair, within a couple of weeks, work will commence, and work is not commencing. And I feel like as a member of Parliament, I'm not getting a clear answer, because when I have to hear members calling in radio station and this one blaming this one, I feel like, where are we going? We're playing tag with it. And I said yesterday, Minister of TEAT, and I used a quote from someone that says, stand with your team and not against it. And I said to you, Minister of TEAT, your team, no one seems to be standing with, especially when it relates to Soul Beach, through you, Madam Chair. And I asked the question, if it was full, would everyone wash their hands with it? But I see that you are confident. You have stated today that you are proud of what you accomplished through Soul Beach, what St. Martin accomplished through Soul Beach. And I state that my question with Soul Beach is this: while not against any aspect of it, the funds, I am getting the impression that something was not done right as it pertains to funds. The Minister of TEAT does not pay. So you can write the advice through you, Madam Chair, your staff can write the advice. At the end of the day, the financial persons have to agree or disagree. So my question is, was the advice approved unanimously in COM? And was the advice required to be signed by the Minister of Finance? And through you, Madam Chair, I remember once the Minister of TEAT was actually willing to present to us the Yezetinwe report on such. And then when I spoke to the Minister of Finance once about requesting Yezetinwe, it was said that it cannot be sent. So I'm not going to ask the Finance, I'm going to ask you, Madam, through you, Madam Chair, Minister of TEAT, can you then present to us the Yezetinwe report on the advice for Soul Beach? Let's nip this in the bud. And also I would like, just my only other thing is back to my first point, clarification and clarity on what exactly is the problem with the marketplace as it relates to the Ministry of VROMI.
Madam Chair, through you, just a very simple question, because the Minister of Finance mentioned that the Minister of TEAT will be answering the questions, and I don't really want to be playing a hot potato, and I think it's very unfair to be wasting my time to be able to repeat these things again. So my question is, will the Minister of TEAT be answering the questions I will pose? The Minister of Finance, for example, answered questions based from the Prime Minister. She answered questions from other ministers when she got them. She made it clear that these questions will be answered by Minister of TEAT, and my questions were left over, and she made it clear she's not answering it. The Minister of TEAT has to answer. So just clarity.
Regarding the MSC Cruises campaign, specifically in the allocation, that's on the page 77, where it states the 90,000. was raised based on a review of 2024 national budget, particularly under the section related to tourism product development. The code number is 8240. And the marketing projects where this initiative was explicitly mentioned. The campaign aims to support a cruise to stay conversation strategy in collaboration with MSC Cruises, encouraging passengers to extend their stay on the island either before or after their cruise. As a member of parliament, my inquiry was motivated by the need to understand the anticipated economic return on this investment, given campaign's objective to increase overnight stays and spending by cruise visitors additionally. I sought clarification on how the success and impact of this initiative are being measured and tracked, especially in the terms of actual conversion rate, visitors, expenditure, and long-term benefits to the local economy.
Minister, through you, Madam Chair, with regards to the whole process with the marketplace, I remember stating in here, if the design changed, that means a whole new bidding process needs to take place. I heard mention of potential piles having to come into the construction equation. So therefore, the design is 100% change, and it will require a whole new bidding process. I think that it is high time that we just become a bit more transparent and you give a realistic timeline as to how we can move forward, because I think that contrary to what you mentioned, Minister, through you, Madam Chair, is not politics being played. I think that we are dealing with real-life people now, and I think they deserve some clarity. So please, if that could be provided. Again, you are the minister now, as well as Minister Gomes. You all decided to change the design, which I was vehemently against because of the timeline, but we're here now. How can we move forward? Maybe is it an option to use the old building permit to just continue and get off the ground? Because I heard the minister mention they're still waiting on architectural changes. So that means the permit hasn't even been submitted as yet. Madam Chair, through you, my other clarification, I just want to be very, very clear. I love the idea of Soul Beach. I love the manner in which the minister is always thinking on different ways and means to generate funds. So I'm no way, no shape, form, or fashion against Soul Beach. I went to Soul Beach, actually, and I had a good time by the Charlie Wilson show. So there's nothing against the Soul Beach. I do, however, have an issue, a fundamental issue in the way the process was handled in terms of the finances and not being budgeted, and every continuous law being broken after that. And to be honest, Madam Chair, I think I would have never found myself here defending the Minister Tiat, but I do have an issue with the fact that, in my opinion, her colleague is throwing her under the bus continuously. The reason why I say that is because I was a minister, and Minister Arian came and answered questions for me all the time. I asked a financial question yesterday about Soul Beach. I was told, I ain't answering nothing about Soul Beach. They skip at least 15 questions that MP Arian asked, because the Minister Tiat have to come. Now the Minister Tiat is here. No response was given. I find that quite unfortunate, because indeed, as MP Otley mentioned, if you're part of the team, you're part of the team. And that's not happening right now. Nevertheless, Madam Chair, I would also like to request the NDA that was mentioned in the previous meetings. Hence the reason we couldn't have a Soul Beach meeting, because it was a particular NDA that certain information couldn't be divulged. Soul Beach has come and Soul Beach is gone. Can that be provided, please? I also took note of the fact that the SER is going to do the entire economic picture. I would like to know if there's a particular timeline to that based on their workload, based on all the different laws that they have to evaluate, and in what lineup is that based on their workload? How long will it take? Madam Chair, with regards to the local business, that in my opinion, I'm going to use the word extort, exploit, however you want to put it. I have an issue with the fact that government funds, public funds, went into subsidizing an entity, a foreign entity, yet the same entity is going to exploit local companies if the idea is to generate funds for local companies and boost the economy, which I believe, based on what the minister has mentioned over and over, is the idea behind all of this, then I do have an issue with the fact that they are even trying to exploit others. And the minister mentioned, yes, it's a private company. They are allowed to do business with who they want. Yes, indeed. But the private company is here on the government's invitation based on the government's bill. So how is it then that they can go to the French side and the French side hasn't even contributed? So if my question wasn't clear, I would like to just emphasize that this is the clarity that I seek in that regard. And Madam Chair, to close, in the beginning of this whole Soul Beach saga, we made our concerns clear. It was not being properly promoted in our opinion. We see the results based on the turnout. And I'd like to go to a quote. If you get on the wrong train, be sure to get off at the first stop, because the longer you stay on the train, the more expensive the trip becomes. And here we are now dealing with the expense of this trip. I look forward to get the numbers based on the profits. Thank you.